Back from the dead.
Hey guys, Frozen Nexus here. Today I'm going to be doing a live commentary, so it'll probably get interrupted a bit by me freaking out when in, like, huge combat, but, there's decent breaks between the games, which I won't be editing out in this one. So, yeah, let's get right into it. What this video is going to be about what I would like to see added to the game. And the first thing, and I think the most important thing that needs to be done, is a rework of the durability system. Item durability lasts not, like, just way too short. It's just absurdly short. You'll end up repairing an item and then, like, 20 games later have to repair it again. And if you've played this game, games last only a couple minutes, You need durability to last a decent bit, and in the game's current state, there is no durability to anything, really. So, that's the first thing. And secondly, about the durability system, it should be scrap metal that you use to repair items, not the other items. I don't see how that was a good decision on their part. I don't know the current development studio, or else I would be saying that instead of them, but, sorry about that. But I have a feeling that they are going to change it to scrap metal, because there have been a lot of complaints about the durability system, and I think they will agree that the durability system, in the game's current state at least, maybe if these games lasted way longer than what they do, it would make sense, but right now this just makes literally no sense. Oh my god! Wow. You guys and your big cannons, I really hate you, man. I really do. But yeah, I'm just really hoping that they do agree that the durability system needs reworked. It needs to be built in such a way that you don't feel like you're just wasting your time in a game if you're not going to win. Like, I should still be able to play the game even if my team doesn't do well, and with the way the game is right now, there's just no happy medium. If your team loses, you lose durability, and that can create an unhappy or just a bad gaming experience for you. And a lot of the times, I'm sitting here and I have like these two 20mm cannons, one's completely broken and the other's not, but I really want to build a dual 20mm cannon thing, and of course I can't, because there's no 20mm cannons on the market, because the market's broken, and the only way that I can repair the one is to destroy the other, which I hate. I really do hate it, because it's really hard to get items in the first place. If you spend money on them, you're only going to get them for a little bit before they break anyway. If you do the crafting system, it takes way longer to craft items than it does to actually, have them break, because as you know, in the crafting system, it requires a lot of copper, and you only get a little bit of copper per round. Like, you have to do 2 raids to craft about 1 item, which I don't see how that makes any sense. Now, the next thing, moving on, is going to be about the market. And currently the market is just really inflated because there's not enough players in the game, not enough people who are actually getting all that, high-end orange gear and selling it on the market, and the people who are selling it for like 300,000 of the coins, which is just ridiculous. The only way that I see this being fixed is when more people get into the game. Also, there needs to be some kind of standard. There should be, like, at least up until the purple range, you should be able to buy items at a base price, like from the server pretty much. That way, to stop people from artificially inflating items, because you know how things like that go on World of Warcraft, where items will just get retarded expensive for no apparent reason, it's just out of the blue. And I don't see this game benefiting in any way from that, especially because the items break. Even if you buy one item, you may not even be able to use it for as long as you originally thought you were. So I definitely would like to see the market rebalanced. A lot of that will be coming from, like I said, just getting more players in the game. But at the same time, they need to set up some form of standard to it. You can't just... I really don't think they should just leave the players to the market and say, yeah, they won't do anything wrong. I am sure that they will, players will find some way to game the system. They do in every game that has an open market like that. I mean, this will not be the first game that players have figured out that, like, oh, well, we can just inflate the price of this thing and then make way more money off of it. Let's do that. So, yeah, I hope that there's some kind of, I almost want to say moderation to the market. That way all items aren't like 300,000. Like, that really just ruins a lot of the game. Being unable to buy items, especially when, you may need to buy one to fix your vehicle because, the durability system is broken, just really puts a damper on the game as a whole. And I think that's one of the bigger problems it has. But, I think they will address that issue. It probably not in the near future, but that will be something that should be addressed before the full game is released. Now, this leads me into my next, topic, I guess. It's the full game release date or the open beta release date, whichever. It doesn't really matter either way, but I have a few ideas on what I think that's going to be. But before I start this section, I want to tell you that this is all speculation. None of this has come through official channels. The game's closed beta right now, I feel, is for two main reasons. One, they need to test the basic functions of the game on a larger scale than they have people. And two, they need more money for development. This is a startup game studio. They have not created anything that you probably have heard of before. Gaijin are just the publishers. Gaijin is not making this game in any way. So don't let people tell you that, oh, if this game's bad, it's because Gaijin. They're just throwing their name on it and publishing it. There's not a single developer from Gaijin working on the code to this game. So don't think that, oh, I don't like War Thunder, I won't like this game. It's not the same studio. Alright, so, and that leads me into what I was saying. The studio probably is low on money. I think we can all agree on that. This game was probably way bigger of an endeavor than they originally thought it was going to be, and that has left them in this awkward situation of needing more money to finish the game, which is why the open beta has been released, or not open beta, sorry, closed beta has been released, and you can buy into it. A lot of games do things like this when they need money for development, and, this would not be the first time it's happened. There's definitely going to be an open beta, don't get me wrong, but for now, I think they're trying to raise a little bit of money while, like I said, testing the game's basic functions. And what I mean by basic functions is that they need to make sure that the base things of the game, machine guns and turrets and cannons, are all balanced out to a happy medium before they go and full-fledged release an open beta to the world where everyone's going to review it, and that's where everyone's first opinion is going to be made. Sure, there are some people whose first opinions are going to be made through this. This is an open beta, or a closed beta, and a lot of people who don't like it probably won't, come back for a while, and they might, leave shitty reviews, things like that. But when the game gets fully opened, we're talking about a large-scale number of people who will be making the first impressions of the game, and if they don't like it, then they're probably not going to come back, and that will really hurt their sales. So what I see them doing is using the closed beta as a way to make sure that the open beta is enough to actually get people to say, well, this game looks like it'll be a lot of fun, I can't wait to play it. And, which leads me to the point of the open beta isn't coming for a while. The game currently has a lot of complaints from the closed beta test community. The biggest one being the repair system, and I talked about that just a little bit ago. The repair system is so broken in this game, and that's really the biggest turnoff for me in this game right now is the repair system. Other than that, I don't mind the grind as much. A lot of players are complaining that the grind is too much. They need to give you more parts in a reasonable amount of time. And I don't really know if I agree with that or not. I think the crafting system isn't bad. I think if they bumped up the copper you get from raids and then also bumped up the, changed the durability system so you can repair things with scrap metal, I don't see the grind being too bad. I really don't. But some players will disagree with me on that, and that's just your opinion. I'm not really going to debate that. That can go either way, and that's up to developers. So I think that before, anyone thinks that this game is ready for open beta, it's definitely going to need to be a lot more testing done. They're going to really need to work out the kinks, work out the things that are really pissing off the community right now. Like, seriously, go on r/crossout, and people are furious about this game. Like, some people are just saying that, oh, the developers just want your money, blah, blah, blah. Like, people are taking this game in the worst possible way they can when they don't realize that the whole reason it's in a closed beta and that you can buy into, like, and you can buy into it is just because they're trying to test it on a small scale before they release it to everyone. But it doesn't seem like people want to accept that as a reasonable answer. I don't know why, but people are not happy about it, and I'm one of those people that's just like, I don't see anything wrong with this game. It's a closed beta. I got exactly what they promised. A, basic model of a game that they will be releasing, and it's not anything special, granted. Like, clearly this is not, oh, Game of the Year material or anything. But again, I got what they said I would get, They didn't scam me and were like, oh, you're going to get this fully functioning game that does this, this, and this. They were like, it's a closed beta. We're still very much in the early stages of the beta, too. Don't expect a whole hell of a lot. And, well, obviously they didn't say it like that, but I kind of got the gist of what they were saying from forum posts, and people really just are taking this in, like I said, the worst way possible. They think they're being scammed by these developers and that they're never going to give us our full game, and this game's probably never going to get into open beta or full release. And, well, I mean, it's possible. It could never hit full release. It could do terrible, and no one ever plays it, never gets full release, and this is all we'll ever get of it. But I don't see that. I do not see that happening. Clearly, they're trying to raise money by monetizing the beta. It's a startup game studio, like I said. They could use the extra money. They are probably trying to hire some more people who can, do things, different things, like someone who understands how an economy system works in a game, because that's something you really need to keep track of and keep watch of to make sure that, okay, we can't have blue items costing the same amount as like an orange item just because they're too rare. Those people need to convey that message and tell them, like, okay, the drop rate or the rate of these blue items is so small that people are selling them for more than some of the orange items. You need to rework this, make this item more common. And there's nothing like that in the game so far, and that's pretty much a job in itself. Keeping track of an entire game's economy is a job. And you're probably thinking, oh, how could that be a job? Well, look at games like EVE Online, World of Warcraft. They hire people to literally just analyze the market and make sure there are no market crashes and things like that. It's incredible how much detail get put into game markets nowadays, especially games that advertise themselves as MMOs, which I don't know if this is an MMO. I think this is more of an arena game, arena shooter, really. But that's up for debate, and it doesn't really matter, and I don't care about that enough right now. Like, I'm not going to debate what a game is in its fucking closed beta. So, I'm just overall hoping that the game gets released in open beta within a few months. Probably like 3 or 4 months is going to be its time span. Maybe half a year. They're not going to rush it, obviously, and I don't want them to. I'm sure a lot of people can agree that this game and what I mean by could is that this game has so much potential. This is such a good game and just like such an original idea. It would suck if they just rushed it because people were like, oh, I want to play the open beta, and then the game sucks because of it. So I hope they take their time, they make the game they want to make, and the open beta will come when the open beta comes. Like I said, I think it's going to be around 4 to 6 months, maybe 3 at the earliest, but that's a very, very early, I don't see that ever happening. They would have to do a lot of work on this game in the next few months to get this out in 3 months, or the open beta out in 3 months. But with all that being said, this completely leaves out the, are they going to be adding more weapons and content and things like that? And personally, that is going to be an open beta thing, I see. I don't think they're going to add too many more weapons in the closed beta. They might add a few. They might add a few more raids or things like that. But the vast majority of content is going to be on the open beta. because once they've tested their game on a mass scale and made their customers or their testers happy with the game's current state, then they can start expanding. You don't want to start expanding a game when people aren't happy with it yet. So they're not going to be focusing on things like, adding more guns or adding more content up until the open beta becomes a thing. Because like I said, why would you expand content of something people aren't happy with? That's one of the biggest issues the Division has right now. They're adding more content, but the base game itself is not perfect yet, and people are still very unhappy. You can add as many incursions and expansions as you want and give them out for free, but while you still have a hacker problem, people exploiting glitches left and right, SMGs being completely overpowered and the only usable gun in the game, it doesn't matter how much content you give us. We're still not going to have a fun time if the base mechanics of your game are broken. So, all in all, the game itself is not broken. I see it in a very good state right now. Still early state of the beta. There's nothing overpowered, game breaking, or, this cannon is the cannon that everyone's going to be using, because you can have only machine guns on your vehicle and still stand up to a guy that has twin 76mm cannons or things like that. You just, gotta play smart, you gotta play carefully, and a lot of that just, like I said, breaks down to how you play and things like that. And that's how an MMO should break down, and there should be no overpowered, everyone's using this weapon, and that's how the Division took their game. Everyone uses SMGs. And honestly, I think the Division is losing a lot of its fan base, a lot of its supporters, because they're not taking care of their game. They're not fixing the base issues with the game. They're just fixing or adding more things to the game to make more market points to sell and, shit like that. And that's really what pisses me off about game studios. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully this gave you a better understanding of what is really going on in this open beta. And, if you did, please leave a like and a subscribe on the channel. I'm a small channel, and every like, every subscribe means a fuck ton to me. And I'll be bringing a lot more Crossout content. I'll be bringing you updates on the betas and, patch notes as they come out from the developers. So, see you guys in the next one, and peace out.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely